rate your candidates and judge them for their policy and actions alone. I'm your host, Mega. Join me to figure out who your Candi Crush is. If you need a refresher on the rules of Candi Crush, go back and watch the intro video again.
I don't own any of these movies or characters, and each movie or character's owners don't have any opinion about these candidates.
Today's candidate is Dage. Dage is a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel. They also hold several degrees, including a Master's of Business Administration and a law degree. Dage has years of experience in public service, basically being an overseer in different capacities, including as an elected official. Dage says their priorities will establish a safe community with a solid infrastructure that is balanced throughout the city. Their intent is to set every citizen up for the future. Dage's top priority is fixing our growing crime problem. Their goal is to make Colorado Springs the safest city in the nation. There will be a renewed emphasis on arresting all criminals. They'll repeal legislation that supposedly makes it easier for people to commit crimes, and legislation that creates personal liability for first responders lawfully performing their duties. There will be a zero-tolerance policy for panhandling, and violators will be arrested. They want to improve response times, and protecting private property will receive greater emphasis. Dage wants to create a more balanced infrastructure improvement plan for our streets, sidewalks, curbs and gutters, and parks. They want to elevate our older neighborhoods to the same standards as our newer developments. Homelessness will be managed as a community initiative, which includes busing them out of Colorado Springs. They support flexible zoning proposals that maximize private property rights. They want to prepare our city for droughts and wildfires. They think the government shouldn't use taxpayer money to artificially influence the affordable housing market. They support community partnerships and initiatives. They're against the government's use of smart technology to collect and use our personal information without express consent. How about opt-in, written down, mail it somewhere to count as express consent? Dage has a plan for dealing with pandemic response as a community. Going forward, all businesses will be designated as essential. Dage will defend the right for all businesses to remain open during lockdown recommendations. They are anti-vax and mask mandates. Anti-vaccine passports. Dage won't let individual venues require proof of vaccination to enter their place of business. Doesn't want the city to work with private organizations that have vaccine mandates for their workers or contractors. How do they feel about government employees having vaccination mandates? Because that's a thing in the military. They are very against the unvaccinated being treated differently than the vaccinated. Pro-individual rights when it comes to masks and vaccines. The supply chain should be treated as a strategic priority. Dage wants to expand the local production and delivery of all goods and services. They want to repeal policies, regulations, and fees. They support flexible zoning for community gardens. They want to propose policies and infrastructure improvements that protect the reliability and availability of our power grid. They're against carbon emission and renewable energy standards that impact our home rule authority or personal sovereignty. They're very focused on the current individual, and any future problems that we cause are for the future individuals to deal with. Dage seems to be very pro-military. They will strive to establish a national standard of excellence for all services provided for our military members, veterans, and their families, such as transition and employment, behavioral health and wellness services, attainable housing, and other quality of life resources. So how do they feel about homeless veterans? Are we busing them out too? Or do we give them homes? Dage will encourage community support for service members kicked out of the military with anything less than an honorable discharge because they refuse a COVID shot. And they want us to keep Space Command. Dage will ensure that the city's standard of excellence for core services is consistently achieved. They'll support deregulation so you can use your property and business the way you want to, but not when it comes to vaccine or mask mandates, though. They'll recognize community partnerships, initiatives, and volunteerisms. Dage wants to protect our constitutional rights and religious liberties. They support school safety initiatives. They support assisting people transitioning out of the correction system. They will make it desirable for people to seek employment. They want to encourage options that will increase employment opportunities. So, I looked Dage up on the FEC website and found a lot. I only found these contributions from Dage. These are the occupations people who've donated to Dage have. 1, 2, 3. That's all you get, don't get greedy. They have a couple repeat donors. Layla's a bigger donor than Suli is, but Suli seems more frequent. Here's a couple honorable mentions. Their mom supports them too. The National Association for Gun Rights doesn't seem to like them very much. Here's a map. And here's their top contributors. Who's Tool from California? So, you've met Dage. Dage is the retired Air Force officer whose priorities are crime, growth and development, pandemic response, supply chain management and energy, and defense. They believe in a commitment to excellence and opportunity for all. So, it's time to ask the question, is Dage your Candi Crush?